This is a journal I wrote in college before I got married, before I knew what being a wife even meant. I was in a space where my reality made becoming a wife seem impossible. I wrote about wanting to be loved, wanting to feel wanted, and how I thought being a wife would fill this void in my heart. But let me be real with you. I wasn't ready. I was in a state where I was searching desperately for someone to love me. Life experiences left a void in my heart, and I dealt with deep rejection issues. My heart broke every time I felt alone or unwanted. I would cry, I would break down and act out of character. At the smallest hint that someone didn't need me, I made decisions I regretted. I wanted so badly to feel loved, to be held at night, but that desire misled me into relationships that weren't healthy. I ended up in cycles of toxicity, trying to fill a void that only God could fill. It was a long journey, full of hard lessons, failed relationships, but then, almost overnight, everything changed. Fast forward to today. It's been 7 years since I wrote in this journal, and I've been married to the love of my life for almost 3 years. It feels unreal. But here's the thing, this relationship didn't happen by accident. It was intentional. It was a manifestation of God's grace. I want to share the lessons I've learned in this video, not for likes, not for money, but to be transparent about the realities of becoming a wife and finding a husband. So stay with me. Each section of this video can't exist without the other. Watch the entire video. Don't skip. Don't fast forward. Watch the video at 2 times speed if you want to save time. Quick story. I got into a relationship with someone so toxic that it completely changed who I was. He was constantly with other women, and instead of leaving, I thought I could fix it. I saw potential where there really wasn't any. Long story short, it caused me to act completely out of character. I ended up doing some crazy things. For example, I broke into his watch to read his messages. I then saw texts between him and another woman claiming that her child was his. That alone should have been enough to walk away, but I stayed. Another time, I knew something shady was going on, so I went to his apartment at 2 a.m. I sure did. He wouldn't let me in. He literally cracked the door open just enough to talk. Now, here's the embarrassing part. I had made a copy of his apartment key when we were on good terms, and I used it to break into his place. Looking back, I can't believe how far I let myself go. I could have gone to jail over someone who wasn't even worth my time, but God saved me from that situation, and I thank him every single day. Because honestly, where would I be now if I had continued to accept bare minimum behavior? I'm sharing this story as a testimony. If you're going through even 1% of what I just described, hear me. That man is not your husband. He will never be the man you deserve. And if he is your husband, he's going to drag you down until you don't even recognize yourself. When I met my husband, I realized everything I had gone through in the past was because I had been choosing men who were bare minimum. Meeting my husband was like night and day. He was a grown man, mature, honest, and intentional. He didn't play games. A man who wants to pursue you will not play games, period. I want you to know this. If he's playing games, you need to run. A real man, your future husband, won't treat you like an option. So let me share with you how to identify that kind of man and how to step into being the wife you're meant to be. Before you can become a wife, you have to know what it means to be one. Being a wife is about becoming the better half in a marriage, a partner who enhances and complements her husband. The Bible describes marriage as two becoming one, a union where you enhance each other and bring out the best in one another. But here's the key. Before you can be a good wife, you need to have a healthy relationship with yourself and with God. For me, the foundation of becoming a wife started with my relationship with God. God will teach you everything you need to know about being a good partner. Loyalty, trust, submission, not the toxic kind, but the mutual respect that allows both people to grow. A man who's right for you will see your relationship with God and recognize the qualities that make you wife material. But remember, being a good wife means there's also a good husband in the picture. A good man is loyal, respectful, and has vision. Here's where the work starts. Boundaries. You have to decide what you will and what you won't allow in this season of singleness. I've created a boundaries document to help guide you. You'll find the link in the description below. When using the document, make sure you save a copy to your Google Drive so you can personalize it. Fill it out Honestly, in my journal, I created this exact thing and it helped me weed out the guys who didn't respect me. For example, a boundary that I had was don't text or FaceTime late at night. You can add become celibate if that aligns with something you want to do. A lot of people forget that boundaries also includes things you will allow yourself to do. For example, if all you do is sit at home and binge watch TV shows, add go to places and events that genuinely interest you. Write down everything you can think of and print it off and keep it in front of you if you need to. These boundaries aren't just about rules, they're about protecting your heart and your peace. A good man will respect your boundaries, but you have to respect them first. For me, I had to avoid men who clashed with my beliefs. I've dated guys who didn't respect my faith or actively pulled me away from God. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. If a relationship doesn't sharpen you spiritually, it's not for you. When you make this commitment, you will be tested. Old situationships will try and come back into your life and new dudes will pop up out of nowhere. It literally happened to me. I knew my husband during this time when I was committing to my boundaries, but I got distracted. I got distracted by somebody else that slid into my DMs, y'all. I had to cut off like 3 guys previous to this that had just came up out of nowhere. But I wanted to give this guy a chance. I'm literally walking out of the building, going to my car to meet this new guy, and my now husband and his friends were posted up outside the door, and he was like, "Where you going?" Because we were friends at the time. I insisted on going to meet up with this toxic dude, even though I had set boundaries. Just imagine if I had stuck to those boundaries I set. I would not have encountered the lowest, most embarrassing relationship of my life. And let me tell you, it slowed me down, but I still ended up with my husband. So even if you mess up like I did, know that God will still guide you to where you're meant to be. Let's talk about non-negotiables. This is probably the most important activity in this video. This is your list of must-haves in your partner. For me, I based mine on lessons from bad relationships. I needed somebody who valued education, loved to travel, and respected my faith, whose mother was loving towards me and wasn't going to lie for her son. I've also created a non-negotiables document for you, linked in the description. Follow the same steps to save a copy and fill it out. Your non-negotiables should reflect your values, your past experiences, and what you truly need in a partner. For example, my list included things like must be in college or graduated college already, someone who wants to travel, someone who has a strong relationship with God. Write down your list, but be realistic. If you're expecting somebody to own 3 luxury cars while still building their career, you might need to adjust your expectations. Instead of focusing on materialistic things, focus on the qualities of a person that aligns with your goals and values, not superficial stuff. I promise you this works. My husband is every single thing on my list. I created a vision, I wrote it down, I made the vision plain. Throughout my journey, I learned the importance of patience. Love should not be rushed or forced. Love isn't something you find, it's something that you build. It's not an instant connection, it's a process of learning, growing, and becoming. The Bible repeatedly reminds us to be patient with love. One of my favorite scriptures, Song of Solomon 2:7 says, do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. This means you can't rush love. You have to let it develop naturally in God's timing. Waiting for the right person might be hard, but it's so worth it. Let me leave you with this. Here are 7 steps a man takes towards marriage that helped me recognize my husband as the one. He pursues you with genuine intention. He creates a safe space for you to be vulnerable. He speaks life into you and affirms your worth. He provides stability and a vision for the future. He commits to a relationship built on love and integrity. He helps you heal from the past and build for the future. He prioritizes growing together spiritually. Becoming a wife and finding a husband isn't about chasing a fantasy. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and aligning with someone who complements that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check the description below for the boundaries and non-negotiables document to start your journey. Thank you for watching, and remember, trust the process. God's timing is perfect and his plans for you are greater than anything you can imagine. See you in the next video.